oriented programming language, which is most probably or prominent in enterprise application development, right? Then we discussed who is the official owner of Java. Oracle is the official owner of Java. But who started Java is Sun Microsystems. So Sun Microsystems has started Java. Later, it was taken over by Oracle. Oracle purchased Java from Sun Microsystems. Okay, and we understood a lot of features right yesterday about Java. Java is platform independent, right? Java has a lot of features that like maybe it is robust, it is secure, it is simple, right? We have seen some of the important features of Java yesterday, right? So not all those are the basics, because when you attend any interviews, the basic interviews, they will definitely ask these questions like, can you explain me what is Java? Can you tell me what are the features of Java? Right? Why should I go for Java? Right? So those kind of things will be asked in your interviews. And like yesterday, what we have understood is what is JDK, what is JRE, and what is JVM. Right? So these three things are like basic pillars that everybody should know. So that we have understood. What is JDK? It is Java Development Kit, which we use. Using that, we can develop programs, right? Java programs. So JDK is a kit which is used for developing Java applications. Okay. What is JRE? JRE is Java Runtime Environment. So what is Java Runtime Environment? Environment in which your Java applications would lie or would be there, right? So that we call it as Java Runtime Environment. Right? Yesterday I was showing you a few diagrams. There I was saying you inside JRE we have something called as JVM. So what is JVM? It is Java Virtual Machine. So what is the need of JVM? JVM will interpret your code, right? So whatever code that you write, Java will interpret. Yes. So after that, after understanding what is JVM and what is JRE, then we were about to start learning what is a class, correct? Um, so just a moment, I'll just see what. Okay, 45 members have joined. I think others are still facing some internet issues. Yeah, we will just revise. We will just revise what we have learned yesterday. Then we will continue after some time. Okay. 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 Yeah. So what is a class? Yesterday we have learned what is a class, right? So how do we define class in Java? Anybody wants to answer this? So yesterday I was explaining you there is a package called as java.lang package, correct? So what does java.lang package do? Like it has some basic input output functions and keywords. So this java.lang package is by default imported, right? If you if you want it or don't want it, by default you will have this import done. Okay, so after that we understood we write a class keyword, correct? So what is class keyword? So any Java program we are writing, we are supposed to write it inside a class, correct? We had written a class and we had written main method. Okay, and there we have written how to print something on the screen. Okay, so we know how to print something on the screen. We were using print ln statement and we were using print statement, right? Printf and print ln statement to print something on the screen. So that was working fine. we understood why we can go for println and printf. So there was a legacy method that you could use called as printf, right? So what was the need of printf also? I had explained you yesterday. Means you can use some placeholders like percentages or percentage d for printing numbers, right? Okay, so after understanding what is the output statements, we also understood how to take input from the user, right? Does anybody remember how to take input from the user? Students who are present in the class. Uh, like yesterday, I've taught you there are two ways of taking input from the user. Like, did you remember that? What are the two ways of taking input?
Scanner.
Yes. And other one is
Buffer.
yeah. There is something called as buffer reader. But yesterday, I've just told you how to read input something from the user, right? For reading part, most important thing that we wanted for scanner type of reading is we wanted to have a class called as scanner, correct? So in which package that scanner was present? Can anybody remember in which package scanner class was present?
Java.util.
Correct. So we used java.util.scanner. So so after importing that java.util.scanner, what is the first line of code that I wrote? Yes, I was creating object of scanner class, right? I was writing scanner some a is equal to new scanner of, right? Inside that, I was writing something called as system.in. Do you remember that? Okay. Just a moment. I am facing some issue with my computer. I am not able to share the screen, so I'm just waiting only for others to join in, so that by the time we finish the revision, some of them would have joined, so that it would be easy for me to continue with the class. Okay. Just give me some time. Okay, so what we did, we created an object of scanner class, right? Scanner sc is equal to new scanner of. By using new keyword, I created object of scanner class. After creating scanner class object, I was using some methods to read input from the user. So what are those methods I was using to read the entire line? There was a method called as next line of, correct? No? Yes or no? Yesterday I opened showed one scanner class implementation also, where you had like all the methods which are present in scanner class and what and all they are doing there, right? All that I yesterday just showed you, right? How scanner class is implemented. So basically, you have one a class created, it created an object, so that object might have some methods in it, right? What are the methods? Methods may be like scan like a next int of, next float of, right? All that, right? Okay, then using that we were able to read the input and we were able to print something on the screen. So those activities we were able to happily do yesterday without any interruptions. Okay, so I just got another PC booted. I'll just share my, just give me a moment. I'll just share my screen. Only 60 of them have joined. 67 of 66 of them have joined. Give me a second. Okay, now people have joined. Okay. Just a moment. I'm just booting up my other system to just start with some previous system I was using. Just give me a moment. I'll join. Yes. Here I to join this. Others, by the time I join in, is there any doubts in the previous session that you're facing before we start today's session? Are you facing any some doubts you wanted to ask me before we start today's session? Do you have something like that? Anybody? Any doubts you guys are having before we start the session? Okay, you guys are able to hear me? Hello. Can anybody respond saying that you are able to hear me?
Yeah, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so yesterday I was saying you about how to write programs and all that. So I'll just share my screen and again do the same activity so that you will have a common understanding. I told there is a different way of reading input. I'll also be explaining that way today. Okay, so hope you are able to see my screen. I am just opening my Visual Studio Code so that I can write some code for you. Okay, so you all repeat with me. So we will have one conclusion on how to read input using scanner. Then I will start writing how to read input using buffer reader. Okay, so I have a new file which I'm creating, and here I will save it as Control S. I can just save it as demo3.java. I'll go for desktop and I'll save it in the same Java day1 folder. And I'll save it as demo3 demo3.java. So always remember save it with the class name. So I always recommend you to go with capital letter, because this capital letter will be using for the class name also. Okay, just as a convention, there is no rule that you should do this. I will tell you what are the best practices also. Okay, so I'll be creating it inside this. I have a Java file which I'm writing code now. So what is the first thing that you should write to have a scanner? Import, right? Java.util dot scanner. So what is this util.scanner? Scanner is a class which is present in util package, which we will use in our program. Okay. So next, what is that you need to do? Next, what is that you need to do? I have to write a class. So class demo3. So that is what I have written here. So that's why I'm choosing the class name to be. Class name and file name should be common. Okay, so demo 3. So inside this, I will be writing my public static static void main. Okay, so here I will write string. Okay, yesterday I was writing array, right? Instead of array, I will write 3 dots, 1 2 3. Okay, 3 dots, and I'll write my name. Okay, I'll write some name called Girish. Okay, so I'll tell you why I'm writing this. So instead of writing an array args, also args is nothing but name of an array, right? So I can give like Girish and 3 dots. 3 dots specify it is variable argument that I'm passing, command line argument which I'm passing. It means that. Okay, so here I was doing scanner SC is equal to new scanner of, and here I was passing something called as system dot in. Okay, I was doing this yesterday, and after doing this I was reading some values from the user. So that is sc dot next line of. Sorry, somebody speaking, any doubt? Okay, I hope it is not for me. So here I'm having string y. Just a moment, I'll use my headset to understand the issues. Okay, maybe this way you are able to hear me. So what I'm doing, sc dot next line of is the method which is present in scanner class, which I'm using here to read the entire line. Okay, and next what I'm doing, I'm printing, right? I will print system dot out dot print ln. Okay, I'm using system dot out dot print ln, and I'm printing that name which I am reading. Okay, whatever name I am reading, I'm trying to print that name here. That's it. So this is how I use scanner class. Okay, you know how to execute it. I think you have that expertise in doing. So let us go back to that file directory where we have this files present, and run my program from there. So we are in this. Sorry, it has opened many times. So in your desktop, you had something called as you had something called as day one, right? So inside this, hello. Please go on mute. Somebody is not in mute. Please go on mute.
ఇప్పుడు కంప్యూటర్లో ఆడ సెర్చ్ చేయడానికి కూడా ఇంత పెద్ద లింక్ ఉంది కదా రోజు.
So I think your mic is mute.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to write here is buffer header br is equal to new buffer header of. So previously I imported something called a scanner, right? Now I don't need scanner. What I'm writing something called as buffer header, some variable. It can be a, b, anything, and I'm having new buffer header of new input stream reader. Okay, so I'll tell you why I'm using these and all. Okay, so here I will be passing system dot in. Okay, system.in. So what does system.in refers to? It refers to standard input device, right? Yesterday I was telling you that. So I am just ending the line here. And now this br dot, okay, there is methods which is present in buffer reader class, which is like br dot read line. Okay, read line off. Okay, read line off. Okay, what does this read line off will do? It will read the entire line. Previously you had something called as next line off, but in buffer reader you have something called as br dot read line off. So I will store this in string name. Okay, so I'm storing it in name, and I will also print this statements that I'm having. Okay, system dot out dot print println. So I will just print my name. Okay, so what I'm using, I have an alternate for scanner that is nothing but buffer reader. So most of you will get a doubt. So what is this buffer reader, where it is present, right? What is this input stream reader, where it is present? Why are we using those classes? Okay, so this is something, some doubt that you will definitely get. So as of now, what I will do, I will just save this file. I'll go to my terminal and try to execute. Okay, see, scanner was present in one package. Now that I am not using any package, right? I'm currently not using any package. Now if I go and compile this, okay, if I go and compile this now, what we will get? Definitely we will get an error, correct? So what is the error? It is saying, hey, buffer reader, I'm not able to understand where it is present. I don't know what is input stream reader, where it is present. I don't know. My system is saying me, these are the errors. I don't know what is buffer reader. I don't know what is input stream reader. Okay. So instead of that, now what I can do, instead of scanner, I have to import something new, correct? So import. So there is a package called as java.io. Okay, io package. IO means input and output. Java.io package, input and output. And I will use dot star, and I will say everything from that package. Everything from that package, I am using it here. Okay, I'll just save this, go back to terminal. Now I will just do javac demo3.java. Okay, now it is saying some error, saying that unreported exception, IO exception. So I'm purposefully doing this. So this exception you will also get. Okay, so it is not like you have done some mistake here. You did not do any mistake here, but still you will get this error called as unreported exception or unexpected exception, called as IO exception. Okay, so why they are saying is, you must catch it or declare it as thrown. Okay, declare it as thrown means you have to do something in order to avoid this error. So what is this error? By using buffer reader, if you are reading any line, there is a possibility, okay, there is a possibility that you might get a exception. Okay, get a error. You may get or you may not get. Okay, so what you can do, you can just go, for now you can just go and write throws. Okay, you can write exception, or you can say, you can only write IO exception also, IO exception, or you can just write exception. Any exception that you are having, I will not handle here. I am using a throws keyword, and I am throwing it temporarily out of this block. Okay, don't worry, whenever you are using buffer reader, this one line you need to add it to your code. Okay, now I know from the experience this you should add it here, but as a fresher you will not know, right? You will not know what to do here, whether the syntax is correct or not. So for that you can go with IDE. What is IDE? Like Eclipse, NetBeans, or IntelliJ IDEA. You can use any one of them. They will only correct you. They will only suggest you, hey, do this, hey, do this, like that. Okay, so as of now I am temporarily handling this. Now I go and execute the same Java. See, now beautifully I can see there are no errors. Okay, that read line method is not giving me any errors. Okay, fine. Now I will run this program. Okay, run this program. See whether it is asking me to enter the input, right? So I am using buffer reader buffer reader import. Buffer reader input. I'm giving input, some input I'm giving. So which is read by my buffer reader. Okay, and it will print that data out. Okay, so you are able to understand this just as in how why I can there is an alternative for scanner. I can use some class called as buffer reader, and there is a class called as input stream reader. Okay, input stream reader. Okay, so now let me come in detail and explain what is this buffer reader and what is this input stream reader. Okay, first thing that you should know is this input stream reader. Okay, the main class is input stream reader. Okay. So what does this input stream reader do? This is a class which will read data from the keyboard. We call this as stream class. Stream class. There is a concept of streams. There I will be explaining you in detail what are streams. As of now, understand this is a stream class.
Sorry.
I don't know who's muting me. It is very bad. Please don't mute me. Okay. At least somebody is trying to mute me and all. Don't do that. From when my voice was not audible, can you please confirm? Till when you are able to understand or hear me? So you are able to understand what is buffer reader and what is input stream reader, right? What is input stream reader? It is a stream class which is used to read input from the user. Okay, so input stream reader will read character by character. Okay, it will read character by character and store all this character inside a buffer. You know what is a buffer, right? Buffer is like a cache memory. Okay, until you add some data and until it is filled, it keeps on filling. After that we can use it. Okay, what is buffer reader? Buffer reader is a class which is used to store some temporary data. What is input stream reader? It is a stream class which is used to read data from the user character by character. We don't want character by character, that's why we are using buffer reader. Okay, you may ask me, okay, do one thing, only create input stream reader. Okay, I can also do that. See, now I can go on do just I can create something called as input stream reader. Input stream reader. Reader. Just I can create input stream reader. I can use br is equal to new input stream reader. I can only do this. Okay, and inside input stream reader there is a method called as read method. Only read method. Only read method. Okay, it can only read one character at a time. One character at a time. Okay, it cannot read full line. It cannot read full line. You can just use input stream reader, but it can read only one character. Let us go and compile. Okay. Now I am compiling. It is saying an error. Int cannot be converted to string. Okay, why this error it is giving? Here whatever read method is doing, it is reading it in terms of one character. Say for example, a I have written, b I have written, c I have written. That is one character. So that is read and its ASCII value is given. Its ASCII value is given. So what I will do for now, I will use int here to store it. Now I'll go back and try to run this program. Okay, now it is asking for input. So let us give input. So what is the ASCII value of small letter a? Anybody can tell me what is the ASCII value of small letter a? Those who are in the chat window can also answer. What is the ASCII value of small letter a?
97.
70. Okay.
97.
97, right? So if it is small letter a, capital A, whatever 65 is the ASCII value. So you are able to see if I am entering A, I am getting 97. That's the ASCII value of A, and capital A ASCII value is 65. So I am able to get 65. So what happens? There is no rule that you can only go and use buffer reader. You can use stream reader also, but stream reader will only read character by character. Okay, it will convert that into ASCII value. I don't want this kind of behavior. I want some superior class. So that's why I go for buffer reader. Buffer reader B. So buffer reader. I will use only buffer reader's reference with new buffer reader of and new input stream reader. That's it. Inside this, I will write new input stream reader. So whatever you are doing here, that I will read the data, but also store it in buffer reader. So buffer reader class is having a method called as read line. Okay, and this will store it as a string data. Okay, string data, not integer data, string data. Now you can happily go and enter any type of any line, anything that you are wishing to execute. You are free to do that. Okay, so new keyword is missing, so I would want to add new keyword, new input stream reader. Compile. There is some error. Buffered. Okay, buffered reader. Okay, RED buffered reader. Save it. Go back and do Java C. Read line off. Cannot find symbol. BR. What is the error? Line number 5 cannot find the symbol. BR dot read line off. Read line method in string buffered reader. Maybe I did not save it properly, or I'm doing something wrong. Or line number 5, BR buffered reader BR is equal to system dot in.
Capital L.
Pardon?
Capital L.
Just a sec.
Sorry, voice mute.
Sir, we should even import buffer readers now, sir.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Sir, we need to import buffer reader also, no, sir, from Java files.
Yeah. So see now the thing is you have to do that. You have to import buffer reader. So IO package is having buffer reader. Sorry, am I muted? No. Okay. Yeah, buffer reader is actually from IO package only. You have to import buffer reader. But here I'm writing star here. So actually I have to write like this. Buffer reader, and also one more line I have to do, that is one more line is input stream reader. Okay, so this is the actual way of doing it. This is the actual way of doing it. But both of the classes are from the same package, IO package. I was using java.io.star. Okay, both of these are from the same package. That's why. Actually, I have to write two statements if I want to individually have. So buffer reader is one class and input stream reader is another class. I have to write it like this. Instead of writing each class, what I have written a star. Means everything from that particular package. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Making sense, right? Okay. Fine. So from your practice perspective, if you are looking at so today's we have to cover what is expression, what is operators, what is arithmetic, logical operators, and all that. Okay, so I'll be slowly moving towards that. So if you get any doubt in between, you can put it in the chat window and raise your hand so that I can come back and explain you that. Okay. So if you are seeing this agendas for today, we have to understand many things that are lined up. Okay. So we will start slowly. We'll not rush. We'll start slowly, and we'll slowly understand what is an expression, what are operators, what are data types which are present in Java. All that we will try to understand. Okay. Today's agenda is to do that. Okay. So I'll start with operators. Okay, I will use the same class here so that we can write some code here. Yeah. Anybody doubts?
Sir, I tried to follow the hands-on that you're saying, the code you're saying, and I got an error says a bracket is expected in line 4.
In line number 4 here, is it?
I
Can you
mean my
share?
line number 4.
Yeah. Please share your screen once.
I have to turn on my camera. I am attending the call from phone and I am doing that on computer. Just
Take a
give it a
snap and
second, sir.
take a
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
Yeah, take a photo and send it. I'll tell you what is the error. Just put your code in the chat window. I'll tell you what error you are doing. Okay. Oh, you are turning on the camera.
Camera flip out.
Yeah, I can do that. You can share that. I can see and tell you what is the error.
Give me a second, sir. Mute your Teams. I don't know where to switch this camera.
No problem.
Yeah. I will share the screen again.
Hello, Lakshman Reddy, you are having any doubt? No, right? Okay, no problem. So what I'm thinking is I'll introduce you to this IDE. Okay, if you're not using Eclipse or any other things, I think it's better to start using. I'll introduce you to IDE. What I'm using is Eclipse, but I have a specialized version called as Spring Tool Suite. Okay. For you, you can just go and Google and download something called as Eclipse. Okay. So I'm using Spring Tool Suite for my programming. So it is similar to your Eclipse. Okay. So using this, we will identify errors very soon, and we will not face too much of lagging. Okay, it provides a lot of templates for us to write code and more easily and more precisely. So that's why I'm using this. Okay, as of now, I will launch it, but I'll tell you later. Okay, so now coming back to our code. We are supposed to understand very important things today. So that is, we need to understand what is an expression, what is expression, what is expression. I was writing those question and answer kind of scenarios, right? Yeah. So here I need to understand what is operators, what are operators, and the next important thing is data types. Data types present in Java. So these three are the priority for me today. So what is an expression? Expression is nothing but a set of statements that we write in order to write our code or make our code. Okay. So you are doing the scanner SC is equal to new scanner of, right? Or buffer reader BR is equal to new buffer reader of. So that entire line becomes an expression. Say for example, I am declaring int say age is equal to 40. Okay, so what is this int age is equal to 40? This becomes an expression. Okay, what is an expression? It is set of some keywords, variables, and expressions and a value. So this entire line, we call it as an expression, one expression. In mathematics, you have some expressions, right? Saying that this is an arithmetic expression, this is an algebraic expression, something like that, right? So it is the entire line which I'm talking here. Okay, so if you closely observe if you are writing some expressions, we have some rules, right? Say it should end with a semicolon. In Java, every expression should end with a semicolon, and it should make some meaning. There should be some meaning when you're writing an expression. Here, what is the meaning? I have an integer variable called as age, where I am assigning, there is an equal to operator, where I am assigning 40 value to that. Hello. Sorry, somebody is unmuted yourself, so please mute yourself. I'm sorry, who is that? Please mute yourself. And don't mute me, okay? Somebody is muting me also in between. Okay, don't mute me. Okay, so here you understood an expression, right? Basically, it should have some meaning. Okay, so when you write any programs, you need these basics. Okay, so what are these basics? What are the data types available in Java? Okay, what are the different data types available in Java? There are two types of data types. One is primitive and non-primitive. Okay, second version or the second type is non-primitive. Okay, non-primitive. Okay, what is primitive, what is non-primitive? We need to understand what are primitive type of data types that we are having in Java. Primitive means which these are the data types which were there from C programming. Like you had a data type called as int, right? You had data type called as float, right? Float. And you had data type called as double. You had data type called as Boolean, right? You had data type called as short. You had data type called as long. Okay, so these are all the data types which are from C or C++ programming. Okay, these are old kind of data types which are already there in other programming languages, and still Java supports all this. These are primitive data types. Are you able to understand? Primitive data types. Okay, so here what you need to understand, if you are using these data types in an expression, generally we will use these data types in an expression. How? Say if you want to declare age, I was writing, right, int age is equal to, so age is what type? Age will be generally expressed in some number like 34, 35. Then we go for integer. Then if you want to like if you want to express percentage, or if you want to express some floating type of value, we go for float, where you had float, say percentage or something. Percentage is equal to, we have like 85.45 percentage, right? So if you want to express something in percentage, we go for float. Similarly, we have some greater decimals that we need to have, or a long number that we want to represent, like double. So double is like, you can have some like your bank balance. Okay, bank balance. Okay, so it will be some number which is like this. Okay, it's a long number that you are representing with some decimal values also in precise. If this is the requirement, we go for double. What I'm writing here, I'm writing an expression. This is an expression, this is an expression, this is an expression. To write expressions, what are the primitive things I need? One important thing is data types. Okay, what are data types? It's nothing but type of data we are having in our program, right? So it is an integer type of data, it is float type of data, it is double type of data. Okay, so these are all primitive type of primitive data types that we are having. Okay, if you say integer, can have 4 bytes of memory. So what is 4 bytes of memory? It can have maximum of like there is a range, right? You have 32,000 uh, some 364, so that is the size. So plus there is a range, right? 4 bytes is like 2 to the power of 4. That many numbers you can accommodate in this data type. Okay, so if you are having float is also 4 bytes of memory. Means it can have again 2 to the power of 4 number of range, that is minus 2 to the power of 4 to plus 2 to the power of 4. That much range of data you can add it in float. Double is like double of your int or float, right? It is 8 bytes of memory. Okay, and if you are considering Boolean, it is 1 bit, whether it is yes or no. Okay, you will just have true or false, or you can have 0 or 1. Those things we call it as Boolean. So short value is minus 128 to 127, minus 127 to plus 128. That is the range of short. Like if you want to have number of days in a week, or number of days in a month, something very small value you want to represent, then we can go for short. So short is only 2 bytes of memory. Okay, so similarly you have long. So all this represents type of data that you are storing in your program. Okay, you are able to understand this, right? Data types. What are the type of data you are storing in your program? Okay, so this is about primitive. And what about non-primitive? Non-primitive is nothing but class types. Okay, what is class types? Say for example, scanner SC. You remember I wrote this scanner SC. So now what is SC? SC is a variable, some variable, A, B, C, any variable it can be. This is a variable of type scanner. Are you able to understand? In Java, you have variable of type integer. You can have variable of type class. Are you able to understand? Variable of type class. Okay, best example is string. String in Java is a class. That's why we write capital S. That's why we write capital S. So string name is equal to Girish. Okay, so this is how we represent string. So what is name? Name is a memory of type class type of memories. These are primitive types. Are you able to understand the difference? Yes or no? Yes or no? Hey, say yes or no. Okay, fine. Now
Can you say once again?
Okay, which part you want me to explain once again?
How do we identify it is a non-primitive data type?
Super. Okay, if it is a non-primitive data type, it will have reference of a class name. Say for example, you have demo3, right? Demo3 is a class name. If you write any variable like demo3, okay, a is equal to something. Okay, so this a is a non-primitive. What does it mean non-primitive? It is a reference of a class. Demo is a class. Similarly, string is a class. Scanner is a class. Okay, these are primitive types. These are your data types, primitive data types, which are there in Java. But these are classes. String is a class. Scanner is a class. Demo3 is a class. Like buffer reader is a class. Okay, input stream reader is a class. If any variable which is having a type called as class, we call that as non-primitive variable. Are you able to understand this? Simple, easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I will show you a memory map. Okay, I'll show you a memory map. Let us go deep and understand what I'm trying to tell. Just go deep and understand. Okay, so imagine this entire space. Just a moment. I think it is not opening.
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry.
So people are removing something from the thing, sir. We can't hear properly. I didn't understand how do we identify non-primitive data type.
Okay, see, listen now. If any variable, say a is a variable which is having reference to a class, means you have a class along with that variable, then we call that as non-primitive. So this int, float, double, these are all primitive type of data types. Okay, primitive types of data types. So these are all primitive in nature. Okay, non-primitive means it will have a reference to class. A is now a type of class variable. Now buffer reader is a class, right? So if I write buffer reader, and br, so what is br? Br is a variable of type buffer reader. Okay, so that's why this is called as non-primitive. So this per is type of float. So float is a primitive data type, so we call this as primitive variable. Does this make sense, ma? You're able to understand now? Simple. Say yes or no. At least in the chat window you can mention yes or no. Okay, you're not saying anything. Okay, fine. Now I just wanted to show you a memory map. Maybe I'm not able to share my editors. I don't know what is the reason. Something maybe. Okay, so how these things are arranged or in the memory, I want to show you that. Mm, just a moment. My machine is little slow. Um, just a moment. Mm, I don't know why it is not opening my problem. Okay. Anyway, I'll teach you that after some time. My editor is not opening for me as of now. Okay. So as of now, you understood what are primitive type of variables, right? So integer will have 4 bytes of memory, float will have 4 bytes of memory, and even it comes to this, right, reference of a class which is called as non-primitive, right? How this memory map is done, if you want to understand, just think in your mind. I'll just have a new file and show you that. Okay, imagine you have a variable called as primitive type of variable called as int a is equal to, or age is equal to some 45 or something. Okay, so now what happens here is, see, imagine this entire space that you are having, the whole black space that you're having is a heap memory. Okay, heap memory. So what happens is this value, this there is an empty block that gets created. So imagine this is an empty block which is getting created, and this is a memory allocated for this variable 34. Okay, variable 34, there is a block of memory allocated. Okay, this block of memory is for this variable a. Okay, now a will have a value 34 inside this, 34 inside this. So that is how your memory mapping happens. Okay, in case you are having you are having a variable called as scanner. Okay, so you are having a variable called as scanner, scanner, scanner sc. So in case you are creating a scanner type of variable, what happens, this will not have a separate memory that gets created for you here. So this sc variable will be a pointer variable. We call it as a pointer variable. Okay, what is pointer variable? When you do complete object creation, that is scanner sc is equal to new scanner of. So the moment you create this new scanner of object of a scanner class, then memory allocation will start. Then memory allocation will start. So how memory will be allocated? Memory will be allocated based on what are the attributes present in the scanner. Okay, scanner is already present somewhere, so its memory will be very huge. So like you can imagine, it will consume this much memory to store that scanner class objects. Okay, so this much memory in the heap is reserved for this sc variable. Now sc variable will have a pointer to this memory, means sc will store the starting address of this memory. Starting address of this memory. What is sc? Sc is a variable which is pointing to this memory. Pointing to this memory. What is stored in sc? Sc will store some address. Some address. Starting address of this particular memory. So this memory address will be stored in sc. Okay. Now to prove that, what we can do, we can go back to our code and we can try to execute that. Okay, so we'll try to execute. See, I have a non-primitive variable. Maybe I have a buffer reader. Okay, so or I have a new input stream reader, whichever. You can just create an object of it. Buffer reader br is equal to new buffer reader of. Okay, I'm just creating an object of buffer reader, and I am printing system.out.println. I'm printing this BR. Now tell me what gets printed when I print BR. What should get printed when I print BR? So imagine this. If I print this SC or BR, it should print the starting address of this memory. Correct? No? It should print the starting address of this memory. So I'll go back and I will print that. Try to print that. Okay. See, it is giving error saying that no suitable constructor. Okay, it's no suitable because buffer reader has some constructor where you are passing new input stream reader, and inside that you are passing system.in. So the code was not completed, so it gave an error. Okay, so now I have a constructor with arguments which I'm passing. Now it works fine. See, now can you see here? It is printing some address here, correct? 7406464. What is this address? This is the address of the memory allocated, starting address of the memory allocated for this non-primitive variable. Are you able to understand? If I print A, I'll directly get the value because in this memory, 34 is already saved. 34 is already saved. So I'll just get 34 as the value. But if you take scanner object, it will create memory, but that entire memory starting address will be pointing to this SC value. Okay. Now in your interview, they will ask you a very important question. How will you dereference your reference variable? Okay. What is reference variable? BR is a reference variable. What it is referring to? It is referring to the starting address of the memory created. Okay. Now I can directly do like this. I can go and dereference the reference variable. So BR is having some address. What I will do? I will store BR is equal to null. I will store null value in it. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm dereferencing whatever I had in BR. I'm dereferencing it to null. I'm making it null. Then if I'm printing BR, will it print the starting address? Will it print the starting address? Obviously no, because I have dereferenced the reference variable to null. I'm storing some null value in it. Previously it was storing some object created starting address. There was an object created and its starting address was present in BR. Now what I'm doing, I am assigning it to null, means I'm making nothing. Okay. Now if I go and try to execute, you will actually get null as the value. Can you see null here? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell you? Did you understand the difference between primitive and non-primitive type of variables? Yes or no? You're able to understand difference between primitive and non-primitive, right? Yeah. Use the chat window and ask questions, okay? So that I will not have lost kind of feeling. Okay, nice. Okay, next, what we are trying to understand is operators that we are having in Java. There are a lot of operators that are present. Okay, say that are broadly classified or broadly named as unary operator, and we have something called as binary operator, and there is something called as ternary operator. Okay, why unary, binary, ternary? Say if I have a variable, say I imagine I have an integer a is equal to 10, and for this operator, you have an operator, right? One operand a. Okay, if any operator I am using on a, we call that as single operand. Okay, say for example, I will use a is equal to a plus plus. What is this plus plus? It is a unary operator. What is unary operator? Only on one operand I am performing some operation. Okay. Now I will print system.out.println. System.out.println. I have this a printed. Now tell me what gets printed in a. What gets printed in a unary operator, an addition of a plus plus means a plus 1. So 1 will be added and the value 11 will be printed when you are executing this code. Okay, let us go and see. I'll just compile it and run it. Now I am able to get 10. Okay, so what did unary operator do here? Unary operator actually incremented the value, but incremented value is not used here. Okay, what is the reason? See, I have a is equal to 10. I am using a is equal to a plus plus. What does plus plus operator do? Basically, it will increment the value by 1.
Post
Okay,
increment.
pardon. Okay, so imagine I have a variable called as int b. Okay, I have a variable called as int b, and now I am printing b. Now tell me what will be the value. What will be the value? Okay, what is happening here? Why this value is not getting incremented? Because it is a post increment that we are trying to do. Okay, so I am having a value a, I'm doing a post increment, means the value will be used and then incremented. Okay, value will be used and then incremented. So that's why we are not able to get the incremented value. Okay, so this is something related to post increment. So if we are not doing post increment, if we are doing pre increment, that is plus plus a. Okay, if I'm doing plus plus a and then trying the same code here, so you will get the incremented value. Can you see 11? So what is happening here? Your pre-increment will increment the value first and then use it. What happens to the post-increment? The value will be used and then incremented. Value will be used and then incremented. So that's why you are not able to get that value. Okay, there is something called as pre-decrement and post-decrement. You know, right? Minus minus a, and in interview these are like most tricky questions that they will try to ask you. So what is the value? If I'm doing pre-decrement, I'm able to decrement the value and print it. So the value is 9 now. If I do post-decrement, what happens? Minus minus post-decrement. Post-decrement. It is the same, right? The value is decremented, but not used, right? You're just using the value as it is and then decrementing it. So that's why the value is not decremented. Okay, so that is something about pre-increment and post-increment that I wanted to tell you. Plus plus or minus minus is used to increment a value by 1 or decrement a value by 1. But yeah, so somebody has posted it. Post-increment initially prints, then it gets incremented. Now I want you to solve this problem. So what I will give you, I'll give you an expression. Say a is 10, right? A is equal to 10. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing a plus plus and minus 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 a. Okay? I'm doing this activity. Okay, I'm storing that in a. Okay, and I want to print the value now. Now tell me what gets printed in the place of a here. I'm printing a. Okay, what gets printed here? I'm having a variable a is equal to 10. I'm doing a post increment minus pre-decrement of a. Okay, if this is the scenario, what will be the output? Can you solve it and send it in the chat window? Can you solve it and send it in the chat window? Anybody? 1. Okay. Eight. Some people are getting 0. Some people are getting 1. Some people are getting 0. Okay. So let us try to understand this, and then we'll try to print it. Okay. So what is the a value of a? 10, right? 10 was the value of a. Now I am doing post increment. So value will be used here. That is 10 will be used, but 10 will be incremented to 11. A value will be incremented to 11. Okay. That incremented value 11, I am doing minus minus here, means that will again become 10, right? 10 minus 10 would be 0. Few people in the chat has put 0 just by this logic. Yes or no? Many of you have put 0. Whoever have put 0 have used this logic. Okay. So these kind of logical questions are also given in your interviews for 1 mark questions. Okay. So this will be generally asked as 1 mark question. Can you see 0 is printed? Okay. So how this 0 is printed? First value of 10 is used here. So 10 plus plus. So it's a post increment. The value of 10 is used here. Then it is decremented or incremented. So the value becomes 11. 11 is pre-decremented. So 11 minus 1, that is 10. So you have a 10 minus 10. You get 0. So 0 is the right answer. So good. Somebody has asked one question in the chat window. What if we are having a value called as, sorry, I was not able to hold. Yeah. What if a is equal to plus plus a? Okay. I think I did that, right? A is equal to plus plus a. I've already did. So I will again do it. A is equal to plus plus a. So what happens now? What is value of a? That is 10. 10 will be pre-incremented and stored in a, and 11 will be printed. So that is what happens if this is the scenario. Sorry, I forgot to close the semicolon. So you will get 11. So there are a lot of problems which are given in your platform related to this. I will recommend you to go and solve it there to make you more understandable and confident in these operators. Okay. So that's about unary operators. There are other unary operators which are there for you to learn. I'll park it here because unary means you understood there is one operand. On top of that, you are performing some operation. Say, for example, left shift or right shift if you are performing. Okay. On one operand, you will be performing left shift or right shift, right? Say, for example, you have int a is equal to 4. Okay. Now, if I say perform a left shift operator. Okay, a is equal to a left shift of 2. So if I'm say you perform left shift operator on 2 on 4 by 2 values, then what will you do? How will you solve this left shift operation? Then I'm saying print system dot out dot println. So what is the value of a here? In case if you are performing a left shift operation, what will be the value? I want some of you to answer because all of you are CS background. So I don't think there is a problem in answering this. Okay, somebody told, sir, explain. I already explained it, how we got 0. Is there any confusion? You can unmute and you can talk. Okay, somebody is saying 16 is the value. Okay. Okay. Let us see. How do we represent 4 in binary? We represent 4 in binary as we have 4 bits that we are referring to. In this, if I want to make it 4, generally how we will do it? Anybody? How do you represent 4 in binary? 4, yeah, you're saying 16. Let us see whether we will get 16 or not. But what is 4 in binary? Correct. So it is 0, 1, 0, 0 is the 4 in binary, right? 0, 1, 0, 0. So now if I'm saying left shift of a 2, what happens for the left shift of 2? What generally happens if I do left shift of 2? Somebody is saying 1, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. I know 16 is the answer, but how did you get 16 is my question. So you're shifting to left, right? So what happens? You are using a 2 value, means 2 shifts you are doing. If you're doing 1 shift, what happens is you get 1, 0, 0, 0. So this is what when you do 1 shift to the left, and what happens if you do one more shift? Here 1 0 is appended at the end, 1 is removed, and you do one more shift, you will actually get 0, 0, 0, 1. So what will be the output? We'll just go and execute. So we are getting 16 here. Okay. So yeah. So you are using a shortcut formula. That is also correct. And the binary shift where you have a left shift or the right shift, you would generally use this logic. Okay. So most asked interview questions would be related to this. So always pay attention while you are going with. Okay. So when it comes to binary, it basically means there are 2 operands, say int a and int b. So there is an operation between these 2. We generally refer it as binary, saying you have arithmetic operators, logical operators, you have expressions, right? Assignment operators. All this would come under your binary operator. Say for example, you do result, int result is equal to int result is equal to, you do a plus b. Okay. So this is like having 2 operands, you are doing an addition and you are storing the value of result. Okay. So similarly you have what is minus, okay, plus or asterisk. For multiplication you have asterisk, and for division you have this. Okay. When you do a by b, what gives you is the quotient, right? You will actually have the quotient as a value in result. If you do a mod b, you will get the remainder. Whatever remainder you get, that will be the result that you store it in result. So these are all very basics that you have already learned in C programming. So I'm not stressing these topics more, because this is something very basic that you already know. So these are arithmetic operations, plus minus is equal to, and division, modulo. All these are like arithmetic operations that we perform. There is something called as logical operators, like A and B. So if I want to perform A and B, what is A and B? And is an logical operator. So what do you mean by A and B? You can represent 4 in binary. Like you have 0, 1, 0, 0 representing in binary, and you have B that you represent, that is 5. How do you represent 5 in binary? That is, you represent it as 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So this is how we represent 5 in binary. So if I'm doing A and B, and operation means both of that should be 1, right? 0 and 0 is 0. 1 and 1 is 1, right? So 0 and 1, we get 0, 1, 0, 0, because 1 and 0 is not 1, right? And operation. If both are 1, then you'll get 1, right? So you will again get answer as 4, correct? Because this operation that whenever you are performing, you will get answer as 4 because it's an AND operation. Only one common element is there. So you get 0, 1, 0, 0. So you get it as 4 as answer. So this is AND operation. So similarly, you have OR, logical OR operation that you perform, or bitwise OR operation, we can also say. And, or, not, nor, all those operations that we can perform, like basic logical gate operations that you are performing in your subjects, right? The same operations we can also perform here. Okay, so I'll just execute one and show you this. So when I'm executing Java C demo 3.java, and you are using, yeah, can you see 4 is the answer? Is the same thing if you do OR operation, what you get, or logical OR operation if you are doing. So any one of it is 1, then you get 1. So that is 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So you get 5 as the output if you are using OR operation. So we'll just see if we're getting 5. So these are like very basic operations that we generally perform, right? So these are operators, binary operators. Okay. And we also have short circuit, means we can also mention like and like this. Okay. And or. Okay. So this we will use it in an expression. Say, for example, you have an if condition. If you are saying A greater than B, and you want to give another statement here and an AND operation, then you can go with this AND, not the single AND where we used before. This is called as bitwise operator. We don't want to go for bitwise operator. We want as an expression, you can use ampersand, ampersand, 2 ampersands together, or 2 ORs together. So this is called as, we also call it as expression or expression and. We use it in the expression. So that's why we call it as expression and or expression or some people will call it as short circuited and or. Okay. So these are the binary operators that we are having. And there is something called as ternary operator. What is ternary operator? There are three operands that we will be using. Say, for example, we use, what is the syntax of this is, we have an expression. So expression, if this expression is true, right, we generally write expression and a question mark. If this question mark is true, we get the true result printed here. True result printed here. Otherwise, we get the false results printed here. So this is how we write a general ternary operator. So if and else conditions both will be covered under this. Okay. How we are doing this is, say, imagine I will write it for the same expression. So I will write A is greater than B. Okay. So this is the expression that I want to evaluate. Okay. Expression I want to evaluate, A greater than B, and I will store this in a Boolean. Okay. Boolean result is equal to this one. So you can see A greater than B. I have a question mark. I don't know whether A is greater than B. If it is greater, print true. Otherwise, print false. Print false. So this is my expression that I've written. Okay. System dot out dot println, and here I will write result. Okay. Now what happens? Either I have to get true or I have to get false based on this expression. Okay. So I'll just go on. You already know the answer is false. So I am not explicitly telling the answer. So you can see you are getting false here, because obviously when you observe here, A is not greater than B. So that's why this expression would give you false. If the same expression is like A less than B, then if you are executing this code, obviously this will be a true. Okay. See, true. Any doubts in this? operators. There are there are a lot of operators which are involved in unary, in binary. Ternary is only this, but in unary and binary there are a lot of operands or a lot of expressions that you need to do. There is something called as assignment operators. Okay, SIGN assignment operators, where you have is equal to, right, is equal to, and is equal to. There are two difference, right? This is equal to is to assign. This is to assign. This is to check the equality, whether it is equal to or not. Equal to, or you can say not equal to, not equal to. Okay, or you can say greater than or equal to, or you can say less than or equal to. So these are all expressions that operators that we will use, like assignment operators and condition checking operators that we can go with. Hello. Yeah, any doubt? Sorry, I
Kannada mute and sir, you are in mute, sir.
am I in mute? I think I'm not in mute.
The voice is not audible, sir.
Sorry. Now is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what are wrapper classes is what we are going to start today. So what are wrapper classes is like when somebody asks you what are wrapper classes, you need to explain them. Okay. So what do you mean by wrapper classes? Okay. Any primitive data types that you are having, like you are having int, float, okay, int, float, double, all this, right? These are all primitive data types. Okay, but Java, we say it is 100% object oriented programming language. Okay, for Java to become 100% object oriented, this primitive data types should not be allowed. This should not be allowed, but in Java these are allowed, right? These are allowed. Means you can write a variable, say int a is equal to some 10. You are writing this, right? So this should not be the right syntax. This should not be the right syntax. This is a wrong syntax. So they wanted some way to have wrapping. You know, wrapping means you order a sandwich, they will wrap it in a aluminum foil and give you, right? So similarly, if you write this, if you write like this, what Java will do, Java will wrap it like this. There is a class called as integer class. Integer class. Okay, it will wrap your a as integer a is equal to 10. Means if you write the first line, this line, if you write this line, this you wrote, right? You wrote. How Java will convert that into is like this. Java will convert it into integer A. Integer A. If you write like this, it will be automatically converted into integer A. What is this integer A? Integer is a class. Integer is a class. Where this integer is present? Integer is present in a default package called as lang package. You don't want to import anything. It is present in lang package, right? Java.lang package. You have an integer class. Okay. What is integer class? It is a superset of this primitive variable. Whatever you write as a primitive variable will be automatically converted to integer class type or non-primitive type of data. I was saying you primitive and non-primitive, right? If you write a primitive type of data, Java will automatically convert it into non-primitive type of data. So this process is called as boxing. Boxing. They'll definitely ask you this question. What is boxing? It is a process of converting primitive type of data into a non-primitive type of data. Okay. Who will do this? Who will do this? Java will automatically do this. That's why we call it as auto boxing. Java will do automatically, so we call it as auto boxing. What is boxing? Converting primitive type of data into a non-primitive type, that is integer. What is integer? Integer is a wrapper class. Wrapper class. Okay. Similarly, if you write float, say f is equal to 5.3. If you write something like this, okay. What Java will do? It will automatically box. It will automatically box itself into float. Float is a class which is already there in Java. Okay, float is a class which is already there in Java. Okay, what is this float? Float is a class. What is this float? Small letter f. This is a primitive variable. But what is capital F? It is a non-primitive variable or class type. We call it as class type. Okay. So this is called as auto boxing. Auto boxing. Auto boxing. Okay. Now, what is unboxing? Or we can say from primitive to automatically it is converted to integer, right? Now, in my program, can I mention only non-primitive type? Say, for example, I will write integer A is equal to 10. Can I do like this? Can I do like this? Can I print A? Yes, this is perfectly fine because what is A? A is a object type. What object? Integer object type. Okay. Now you're printing A. What is it? A? It's a primitive type you're trying to print. Okay. So let us see if it is matching our requirement. Okay. See, it is giving me error saying that, okay, M. Okay, I've written instead of ln, I've written M. Sorry. Now compiled successfully and I am able to run it. Can you see 10 is printed? What is 10 now? 10 is actually a primitive value which I stored inside an object. Okay. Imagine if I'm printing A, I should only get address, correct? No, I should only get address. Previously, when I was printing scanner or buffer reader object, I was getting only address. But now I'm not getting address, but I'm getting value of A, correct? No? So this process is called as unboxing. What is this process? It is called as unboxing. Unboxing. What is happening? What is unboxing? Converting object type to primitive type. Primitive type. Okay. Primitive type. So this process is called as unboxing. In Java, it is automatic. It is automatic. So we call it as auto unboxing. To understand what is auto boxing and auto unboxing, converting from primitive type to non-primitive type and non-primitive type to primitive type. And hello. Okay, primitive to non-primitive and non-primitive to primitive. So what are wrapper classes? There are wrapper classes called as float. There is a double, there is short, there is boolean, and there is integer, float, float, double, short, boolean, so on. Okay, short. So all this belongs to wrapper classes. Whatever I've written, these are classes. Okay. So if you want to understand these classes or where these classes are present, you can go to Google Docs. Okay. Just go to Google Docs. Google Docs. Okay. And here you just try to search something called as java.lang package. Lang dot. Can you see? There is a class called as character. There is a class called as string. You can also type integer. Okay, integer. Okay, can you see java.lang.integer? Okay, so you can go inside. There is a class called as number class. So inside that you will find all this. Okay, you can go inside. See, there is a class integer. Okay, where it is present? It is present inside number class.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Actually, just remember, I don't. Uh, Please, because I'm teaching you something. You're supposed to take it credit. Okay, to understand what did you understand what we have discussed today? Any doubts in today's class? You can mention that in the chat window.
Any doubts in today's class? Please mention in the chat window. Okay, Uday Kumar and Kulkarni is raising your hands. Can you tell me what is your doubt that you're having? Okay. Okay. Wrapper classes. Okay, I will explain you wrapper classes again. I'll explain you wrapper classes again. Let me share my screen. Just listen to it. Let me share my screen. Okay, you're able to see my screen. Okay, I'll explain you what are wrapper classes. Okay. Okay, there is remember, now in Java we write data types in primitive type, right? Primitive type of data. Primitive type. So what is primitive type? Like which is supported in old programming languages like int, right? Float, right? Double. All these are primitive type of data. Okay, but Java is completely object oriented programming language. So what is object oriented programming language? Everything in Java should be related to classes. But this int, float, double, these are not classes. These are primitive type, right? Primitive type of variables. Like say I'm writing int a or int say age is equal to some 54. I'm writing like this. So according to Java, this is wrong. Okay. So why this is wrong? Because Java should not support primitive type of data. But it is supporting. How it is supporting? It is supporting using wrapper classes. What are wrapper classes? Wrapper classes are predefined classes for all the primitive type of data. Okay, there is a number class. So imagine there is a number class. So number class is the supermost or the parent class. So this number class is having child classes like integer class. There is one more class called as float class. There are 7 wrapper classes. Okay, integer, float, capital, float. Okay, integer, float, double. There is something. Sorry, it. Then you have double. Then you have character. Then you have double. Sorry, and double is over. Int, float. You have short. Okay, and like all the primitive type of data, whatever you have, that are represented as wrapper classes in Java. What are wrapper classes? Whenever you write primitive type of data, this data will be converted to integer type of data. If you write some data using primitive type called as float, here the variable that you are mentioning is small f, primitive type of data. Okay, say you are mentioning like 3.5, something like this. Okay, this is automatically converted to this float. What is float? It is an object type. It's a non-primitive. What is primitive? Which is already used in C programming, all legacy type of data types. So Java doesn't support that. How it is internally supporting? It is using this wrapper classes. If you mention int, it will automatically convert it to integer. If you mention float, it will automatically convert to float class. If you mention double, it will automatically convert to double class. If you mention char, it will convert to character. If you mention boolean, it will automatically convert to boolean class, capital B, right? So similarly, it will convert whatever data you are having into what data it needs. Okay, so this is called as wrapper classes. Anything you write in primitive will be automatically converted to class type. Okay, class type. These are called as wrapper classes. The process of converting one type to another type, that is integer type to class types, we call it as auto boxing. And when you're printing any variable, it will convert back from class types to primitive type. This is called as auto unboxing. Boxing and unboxing. This is called as wrapper classes. Are you able to understand this? Yes. Okay. Those who have understood, I'm happy. Those who have not understood can ask me. Okay. I'll stop the recording for today.